Alright, so we're about halfway through the Premier League season, and I thought I'd do a little bit of a different video today and go through my own team of the season so far, just so I can show off my fantastic ball knowledge and show you my fantastic picks for my team of the season so far. So we're starting off with our defenders. Now, for me, I've probably went with a couple of out there picks. I think definitely don't think Porro is going to be in a lot, and Allison I think could be a bit questionable. For me, I'm looking at this and I'm looking at the stats and stuff, and it was really between Allison and Vicario. I wouldn't consider any other goalkeepers, but when looking at the two of them, I think Vicario probably is the more popular pick in these kind of teams. For me, I think Alisson has the most clean sheets in the league, one more than Vicario does. Alisson has the highest save percentage in the league, whereas Vicario is about fifth or sixth, and also Alisson's conceded about half the amount of goals that Vicario has. I think Alisson's on about 15 goals conceded, where Vicario's on about 29. So for me, I'm seeing no real reason to go for Vicario there. If anyone knows one reason why Vicario should be in there over Alisson, please let me know. For me, I think Alisson is the standout pick there. Udogie at left back, I don't think there is any real competition there, to be honest. Udogie's been great. Obviously has had a red card and cost Spurs one or two games, but in terms of that left back position, I really don't think there's too many players that can compete with him there. Centre backs are Saliba and Van Dijk again. Easily the two best centre backs in the league so far. And then we've got Pedro Porro at right back, another one who I think a lot of people are going to go for the likes of Trent and maybe Trippier over him as well. For me, I think Porro has been the best right back in the league as well. Looking at, if we're comparing assists, obviously Trippier has 7 assists, up there with the most in the league so far. Porro's on 6 and he's got double the amount that Trent has. So for me, if you're looking at kind of attacking returns, I think Trent has 2 goals. Porro obviously doesn't have that, but he's got double the amount of assists that Trent has. I think Porro's been absolutely brilliant so far this year. And then obviously, we're talking defensively. Porro's obviously a much better defender than the likes of Trent, especially, just going off this season as well. So for me, I'd put him in there. Trippier, I think, is someone who could possibly challenge him for that spot, but I don't think Trippier's been as good over the last couple games. Talking the last couple of weeks, November and December, I don't think he's been that good. For me, Porro has been very, very consistent, and he's in there for me. Looking at the midfield, then I've went for Palmer, Rodri, and Rice. Palmer, I think, has to be there. He has kind of been playing in the midfield role anyway, so I feel like it's okay to go for him in there. Again, Chelsea's standout player. Yeah, Chelsea aren't doing fantastically, but I think considering that no one was really expecting anything from Palmer, especially with the 40 million price tag on him, I think he's definitely shown people up, especially even shown me up, because first half of the season, if you watch the fantasy football videos as well, I really wasn't too happy with going for him. I thought he was just kind of getting his goals from penalties, but kind of looking towards Christmas games and everything, he has been absolutely brilliant. Then I've got Rodri and I've got Rice. I was going to leave Rodri out of this team. I had Palmer and Rice in here as staples. I feel like they've both been brilliant. Then I was looking for a different midfielder to go for, and I wasn't gonna include Rodri because he has missed about 4 games, and I was kind of looking elsewhere. But personally, I didn't really see too many people that I think have been better than him this season. I don't think it's been Rodri's best season, but he is easily the best in that position in the world. And I think, considering his standards, not as good this season, but still enough to be in this team. And then looking at the attackers, I've went for Salah, Son, and Bowen. Again, probably a little bit controversial, the fact that I've not got Haaland in this team. I think Salah has to be in there. He's the joint top goal scorer in the league. Son as well, up there, not as much as the likes of Son and Haaland, but I think Son also has to be there. Again, consistently wise, this is kind of what this team is mostly based off of, is consistency throughout the whole season rather than throughout the whole half the season that's went by. And Son's definitely been very, very good. I think the first 3 or 4 games maybe he wasn't up to brilliant standards while he was playing as a left winger, but since he moved to striker, he's been absolutely fantastic for Spurs. and even without Maddison, he has still been getting the goals in. And then I went for Jared Bowen, again, Mr. Consistent. I think he's been fantastic this season. He has consistently been getting goals and assists and returns every single game for West Ham up until January. So for me, that's why he's in here over Haaland. I was looking at Haaland, obviously, as still the top goal scorer, but I think he scored something like, I want to say, 8 goals in the first 6 games of the season. So now he's on 14 goals. So you're talking, I think, 19 or 20 games played for Man City, which means the last 14 games he's only got 6 goals. So if we're talking, again, consistency, like I've been saying for the whole team, that's my reason for not going for him. So personally, I think it is a pretty fair list. In terms of players who have kind of missed out there, obviously Haaland has missed out, Trent's missed out, Trippier's missed out. But I feel like I've gave appropriate reasoning for leaving them out. I think by the time the end of the season comes round, Haaland's probably going to be in there. I don't see him having a poor end to the season as well, when he probably will finish the Premier League's top goal scorer. So I think he should be there, but I think basing it off of the first half of the season, I don't think Haaland has had as strong like a second half to the first half of the season as he would have hoped and as you would expect. Obviously, he has missed a couple games before Christmas as well, which obviously doesn't help. But I think based on that stat alone, the fact he's only scored 6 goals in Man City's last 14, 15 games, whatever it is, for me, I didn't want to put him in here. And I think looking at the front three, it would be very, very harsh not to put any of these guys in there. I think you've got a couple other players, someone like maybe Solanke, but I think he's not really picked up the big performances until about like the start of November. I don't really know the exact date, but for me, I don't think he's been better than Bowen this season. I think in the midfield as well, I don't think there's anyone that really comes close to any of these 3 guys. There's obviously maybe like Bernardo Silva, but I don't think he's done anything outstanding. Douglas Luiz is also a decent shout. Again, Ollie Watkins, I don't think hasn't done enough to be in the front 3. Douglas Luiz, I think if he wasn't on the penalties, he wouldn't be talked about as much. Obviously, he is still a brilliant player and he is still doing very well for Villa. But in terms of like being in the best 11 of the season so far, I don't think he would really come close if he wasn't taking penalties. So that's why he's not there. And again, if you're comparing him to the likes of Rodri and Rice this season, I don't think he comes close there either. The defence, on the other hand, I think is where I'm totally locked in. Like I'm not seeing any arguments. I think for me, Alisson easily beats Vicario and any other goalkeeper. Saliba and Van Dijk, no argument for anyone else. I think is easily those two. Udogie the same. Porro is where you could maybe chop and change between Trent and Trippier as well, but personally, I think Porro has been absolutely brilliant. Everyone speaks about him. Every performance I've seen of him, he's been absolutely brilliant, attacking wise and even defending wise. So for me, I think he's the complete package at right back. Has, again, double the amount of assists as Trent does this season. So if you're even talking about Trent's attacking output, Porro easily smashes that down as well. So for me, I think that is the best 11 so far. Let me know what you think. If I've made any howlers, let me know down in the comments if you'd make any changes, and I'll see you all in the next video.